Right, so what I'm going to do is show you, hopefully, because I haven't rehearsed this, I'm going to show you how you can use social media to find stories and story ideas. And also to show you what an excellent tool Twitter is with regards to linking you very, very quickly to different sources for a story, and also maybe giving you ideas for different angles for a story. So I'm on our course Twitter feed site at the moment. I'm on the homepage and I'm going to go up here to the search. And I'm just going to do a search, which I do quite often. No hashtags or anything. I'm just going to put in Wolverhampton. Okay, so we're getting various, that would be Age UK Wolverhampton, that's a good charity. So while I'm here, I'll just give them a follow. So we've got some breaking news here from the council. This is from yesterday, but if it's breaking news, that means it would have been built on, so we can carry on and we perhaps can follow the story and see what's happening. So first thing to note is that this is a trusted and reliable source. Remember, we've talked about what sources you can trust, where you can get news from. So this is the official account of the City of Wolverhampton Council. So we know this is a trusted source. And we can see it's a story that's just breaking because we've got the breaking news tag here. So breaking news, leader of City Council announces that the council will ensure 16,000 children don't go hungry this half term. So straight away we can see, I think this is a story that's of interest to us. 16,000 children are affected. So this is a story that's affecting a lot of people. Now, every story doesn't have to affect a lot of people, but that is one of the kind of news values that we look at, because the more people that it affects, the more people are going to be interested in reading about it. And obviously it's a story that's affecting Wolverhampton, and that's what we're looking for, is local stories. So as we're still searching on top, let's just have a look and see what else we can find. Okay, so we've got a tweet here from the leader of the council, who was explaining a little bit more about why children aren't going to go hungry. Okay, so something's obviously happened, hasn't it, to spark this. This hasn't just come out of nowhere. So I do know a little bit about this story, but let's have a look and see what we can find out if you were coming to this story completely fresh. Now, also the thing to note here is this is a retweet, and who's it been retweeted by? Now, I'm not an expert on football, but that's Marcus Rashford. He's an MBE, right? So straight away I'm thinking he's someone important. And then hovering over his Twitter feed there, we can see he's actually the Manchester United and England player, and he's got 3.7 million followers. And he's retweeted this, and this has also had 9,000 likes and 1,500 retweets. So I think we can start to see here, this is a story that we should be taking notice of and looking into deeper. So let's just go to get a bit of background information. Let's just have a look at Marcus's Twitter feed. Okay, so we've got a link here to, it's his pinned tweet. So he obviously wants us to take notice of this. If you can do one thing for me tonight, sign the petition. Okay, so what's this petition about? Right, we can see here the petition is about working together to find a long-term solution to child poverty. Right, so now we can start to see why he's retweeted that tweet from the City Council. So this story, we can see this story is about child poverty and about feeding children. So what we can do is straight away, what's really nice is we've got a link here to this petition. So here you can see we're starting to gather some information, aren't we? This is what news gathering is about. We're starting to look and think, right, what's going on here? So this is the government's petition website. You can see that we've got the kind of parliament.uk tag there. We've got the kind of government's logo there, and it says petition and then UK government and parliament. So again, we can see that this is another trusted source. We can see that the petition here is about ending child poverty and providing access to free school meals, providing meals and activities during holidays, and stopping holiday hunger. Okay, well, half term is coming up, so we've obviously got a lot of relevance here. And then we've got the petition, and we can see here live, we can see that figure actually rising up all the time. We can see a huge number of people have signed this petition. So over 695,000 people have signed this petition, and we can see it's constantly going up as we watch, so it's obviously got a lot of traction, a lot of people are looking at it. Now you'll see here there's a 100,000 in the corner. So if a petition that's given to the government gets over 100,000 signatures, Parliament generally have to have a debate about it. So it has to go to the House of Commons and it has to be debated in public by the MPs. And then following that, the government will respond to that. Again, we can see it's still going up, isn't it? So here we're starting to get some background information about this story. So what I'd suggest you do is, as I've done here, is set up a Word document. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at child poverty in Wolverhampton. So we can put Wolverhampton City Council. And then we've got a government petition. So what I'd suggest you do is, for instance, for that government petition there, you could just go back to that petition and just start to copy and paste these links in, these ideas, so you can go back to them and look at them in more detail. And then what you could probably do there as well, just to remind yourself, is just go back to the petition. I would just copy and paste in. I'm sure it will go up a lot. So this is the sort of thing where you'd need to keep checking this figure so that you get the most up-to-date one, or that you provide a link so people can check what the figure is. Then go back, just paste that in. Then let's go back to Twitter. So I'd probably do something like just copy and paste. If we do a section for Marcus. Just copy and paste in his details there. Then if we follow this trail back through Twitter, come to the City Council. So we've got another one from them, so this is a more recent one. Many children who receive free school meals come from households where parents and guardians are in work, but low pay makes it hard to make ends meet. No child should go without. So what you could do there is, I think, you could actually, that would make a good quote. So I'd probably take that, put that there. You go to that tweet. Just copy and paste the link for that. And it's part of a thread, so what else have we got? Any parent or guardian of a school-aged child who is normally entitled to free school meals, who has not been contacted directly by their school offering a voucher, can request for... So basically the council is saying anyone who's not getting free school meals can apply directly to them and get them. Now you see they've published the whole story via their website, so then we can go to the website. So here you go. We've got a lot more information here. Council steps in to support children from low-income families this half term. Now there's obviously a reason that this has happened, and I think we still haven't really got to the bottom of why the council have suddenly decided to do that, so that's something we'll look at in a minute. So remember, with these press releases, they're great for background information, but we don't necessarily just want to copy and paste the council's angle, even though it is a very good thing that they're doing. If we use the press release, that's just going to be the same information as everyone else has got. So we've always got to be thinking, what different angle can we find? But I think for providing background information here, we can get information like how much money has been made available, £250,000. And then we've got some quotes here from the council. As I said to you before, you can use too many quotes. So I think something like this one: no child should go hungry in this country or in our city. That was a really nice quote that could go quite high up in your story. So I think we just save this press release, go back to our document here, we'll put it under our City of Wolverhampton Council. We can just put maybe a press release with stats, we know it's got statistics in it. And then we've also got the video, haven't we? Now this is the one that was shared on Twitter. So this is the leader of the council. So he will be a councillor, but he will also be the person who's like the spokesperson for the council. So let's hear what he's got to say.
Hello, my name is Ian Brookfield. I'm the leader of the City of Wolverhampton Council. I'd like to give you a brief update about the breaking news. We've all heard the noise this week in government and in Parliament about the issue of free school meals provision for our children. Obviously, we know that wasn't passed. In Wolves, we look after our own. The pandemic has already hit struggling city families.
Okay, so we've only watched a short piece of that, but already I think we've been able to get some information from it. I hope you could hear that okay. First of all, he's mentioned that there was some sort of bill that wasn't passed in Parliament, so we'll have a look at that in a second. So obviously that suggests that plans for free school meals have been scrapped by the government, so this is becoming quite political, isn't it? And then he also says, which I think is really nice, again a really nice quote, in Wolverhampton we look after our own. So again, you might be able to get some really nice quotes from this. So again, I think I'll go back to my document and then I'll just make a note of that. So I really like that quote. And I'll just put from video, council leader, so I can go back and find that. And then I'll also put here with video. So hopefully you can start to see now, we're starting to build up some background, aren't we? We've got all this stuff from the City Council, so we've got their press release, we've got the comments from the council leader. From Marcus Rashford, we've got his Twitter feed there. We can say he retweeted the council leader's video. Then we've got the government petition here, so we can go back to that and check on it, check how much it's changed, but we can see a huge number of people have signed it, which means I think over 100,000, so there will be a debate in Parliament. So I think really what we need to do now is just establish what's actually happened in Parliament, and there's absolutely no problem at all with using other media as a source of news. So if we go here, for instance, I would go to The Guardian. So if we put in Guardian, free school meals. So we can see a story here about it. So we can see here a campaign, and I think that's the Marcus Rashford campaign that we've seen. So this is their take on it. So they've done it in pictures. But to see what we can confirm about the story. Cafe, restaurant and businesses across England have pledged to provide free food to disadvantaged children after footballer Marcus Rashford's attempt to get the government to extend free school meals was defeated in the Commons. Right, okay, so we can see what's happened now. And they've also got a link here. So let's have a look at that link. So Marcus Rashford in despair as MPs reject free school meal plan. So let's see what the story is. Marcus Rashford vented his despair on Wednesday night as Labour's plea for free school meals to be extended over the holidays to stop children going hungry fell on closed ears in Parliament, in government. Here we go. So obviously the Labour Party wanted to extend a free school meal project, but it says here it was rejected by 322 votes to 261. So now we're getting some background, aren't we? So what I'd suggest doing here is just, again, copy and pasting this just for background information. So Labour motion defeated in Parliament. Then we can put that in there. I think we're starting to get some really good stuff here. Now what I would bear in mind is now I might start to think about what new angles can I get on this. So I might, for instance, I might go back to Twitter. And when we were talking about Twitter last week, one of the things we talked about was how much of a conversation it is. So what I'm thinking is, what are local people saying about it? What's their response to Wolverhampton's position? So what I'm trying to find is a tweet that's related to that, that's got a lot of comments. So here, this one's got 72 comments. So this, here we go, we're going back to Ian Brookfield's video. But we can see here, there's 72 comments. So let's have a look what people are saying. So excellent to hear, support for those most in need. It's good to see the council supporting hungry kids. So these are really useful to us because they give us an idea of how local people are responding. So what I'd probably do here is I'd just, again, save this link. I'd put something like local response on socials. Put that there. And then I think I just noticed something interesting on that comment. Excellent to hear. Support for those most in need. Shame about our local MPs who did not support this in Parliament and voted against it. Okay, so this person here is saying that local MPs in Wolverhampton voted against children having free school meals. Well, there's an excellent angle for us. So we've got Marcus Rashford's Twitter there, but then we've also got Stuart for Wolves. Okay, so he's a Conservative MP for Wolverhampton. So what that's suggesting is that he voted against children having free school meals. So there we've got another angle, haven't we? So what I'd probably do is have a quick look at his Twitter. Make sure we're following him. Yep, we are. So Stuart Anderson MP. So we can see there, we can go to his website, we can find out more about him. So let's just make a heading maybe with local MPs reaction, voting reaction. And then we can put that in there. So I don't think we can underestimate how important the comments are, because not only are people commenting, but they're also sharing other news with us as well. So hopefully this is starting to give you an idea of how you can use social media to start to build up a story. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my notes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to think about angles. So ways that I could look at the story. And when I say angles, really, this is a story that's out there, isn't it? It's happened. The government have rejected this motion to give children free school meals over the half term. So we know that's happened. So that's been and gone now. We've got to move the story on. So how can we do that? So if we look back through what we've got. So first of all, first thing I've got here is the local MP's reaction. So we've got local Conservative MP votes against free school meals. So what could we do there? Contact him. Contact other MPs. Check how they voted. We could ask people for their reaction to their MP voting against the free school meals. So you can see there we've got, I think, a good angle. And then even within that angle, there's lots of things we can do. We can contact him, ask him why he voted against it, contact other MPs, what are their positions, did they vote for or against it, what do they think about him voting against it. Could also put out a call for local people, ask what they think. You could do a socially distant sort of interviews with people via social media. Ask people for their reactions. So what else have we got? So we've got child poverty in Wolverhampton. So what we could do here is we could try and find out figures for child poverty in the city. Excuse my typing. Now how could we do that? I think we could contact the council. Look at the council website, that might have some details on about figures. Look at government websites that might have figures about child poverty in the city. And again, you could probably go to Google and look at this. Just Google, child poverty in Wolverhampton. So again, we've got another angle there. And what that could give us as well is that could give us a series of stories, couldn't it? We could look at individuals, how they cope. You could actually interview an individual family that are struggling to feed their children and ask them how they get on, what they think about the MP voting against it, what their struggles are day to day. So already there we've got two stories. And coming back to what else we collected information on. So we've got the City Council, haven't we? We've got their attitude to it and their response. So City Council to, and what did they say? Look after their own. So here you could contact the council because they put out an offer, didn't they, for people to contact them if they want meals. So you could find out what response they've had. How many meals are they going to be delivering? Or are they providing people with vouchers? How are they doing it? What do they think about the government's response? You could also ask them what they think about Marcus Rashford supporting them. So now you can see already we've got 3 strong other angles apart from the main story here, I think. And then what else did we have? So we've got the petition, haven't we? But I'm thinking about the petition. I think that's more of a national story. I think you'd keep an eye on it. And I think you'd also update the figures, but you'd use it as more background information that would maybe be a bit lower down your news pyramid. So there you go. Hopefully this little workshop will show you how you can use Twitter, how you can use social media to find these stories. I did this from scratch in 10-15 minutes. So although I have got experience, I think it's interesting just to put in Wolverhampton, just to see what comes up, put in Black Country, put in Birmingham, the area where you live. Just use your area as your starting point and then see where it takes you. And hopefully you can also see how I've used reliable sources, for instance the council, the government website, also trusted sources of news. Although with regards to the vote itself, I'd probably go to the government website and just double check all of those figures. But if you just quickly have a look at another reputable news source, it will give you an idea of what's going on and bring you up to speed with the story. So thanks very much, and I'll see you back in the workshop. Thank you.